everyone, this is HGJ Halloween, and today I am back with my review of Forest Demon.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Alright, so the first category to get us started is setup. For Forest Demon, the setup was actually relatively difficult. The instructions were clear. I've noticed that with all of the newer props from 2017, they have colored pictures, clear instructions, short and sweet to the point, explain what you need to do, nothing is left out like I've seen in previous older props. So the instructions are fine. However, there's a couple things that are a little bit fidgety. Getting the body on is a little bit difficult, and getting that screw in. Also, those wings were probably the major thing that's going to cause me to take off a couple of points from this category. I normally don't, but the wings were actually super difficult and annoying to open up. I know that they kind of had to have them all squished together so that they could fit in the box, but I gotta be honest, it is aggravating. It was difficult. It wasn't something that I really wanted to deal with, and it made it take a lot longer than I expected. So they don't just come in this shape that you see on the box. It's kind of a clickbait. It's really not that easy to get them to look that rounded. They come all bunched up, and I've seen a lot of people just kind of leave them like zigzagged, which is completely fine, but if you want to set it up to how it's supposed to look, it is difficult and aggravating. So for that reason, I'm taking off 2 points and giving this setup an 8.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Okay, so for concept, the Forest Demon obviously falls under the category of a Hell and Demon prop. We did see them do some Hell props back in 2015 when they came out with the Cerberus and the Harbinger of Hell. The Harbinger of Hell was kind of a different take on a devil or a demon. It was more of like a skeleton-looking thing. It had a staff, and it was really, really red. It had like red clothing. I personally like the Forest Demon better. Obviously, that's why I have him and not the Harbinger of Hell. I thought the Harbinger of Hell just seemed a little bit fake. I don't know, I just felt like the red didn't do it, wasn't that good. And I like this take on a demon better. We've got the claws, we have wings, which we've never seen them have wings on a prop before. Its eyes are like slits right there. It has the horns and everything, and I think it really did turn out looking like a demon. So I gotta say, for concept, good concept, brought a demon to life, so I'm giving it a 10.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
For price, the Forest Demon was originally sold at $250. I'm not sure when they changed the price, but it has since been dropped to $199.99, so it's been dropped $50. And I definitely, when I first saw that it was $250 back when they released it, it was one of the things that made me hate it so much because it was so expensive, but it wasn't the best prop. For the money that we've seen this year. Is really not the best prop at all in general. There's other props that are much better than it. So $250 was really extreme. I know it has some complex parts in there. It's actually huge also. That's one thing that most people that haven't seen it in person would not know. It is huge. So that was one reason that in my sneak peek video I talked a lot of crap about it, because I thought it was going to be like 5 feet tall. It towers over me when it has not shot up yet, and when it shoots up, it's just like insane. Its hands are gigantic, so it is big. So that's one reason that I think it costs a lot. But since the price has been moved down to $200, I think it's pretty worth it. It's still a little bit higher than I would like, so I am going to give it a 9 just because it's made with the cheaper plastic parts. A lot of the Seasonal Visions ones, it's got the metal, it's high quality materials, they're made a little better, look a little bit nicer, so I'm more generous with the price, but I'm giving it a 9. It's pretty worth it. Go ahead and get a 20% off discount on it and it'll be fine, but I'm gonna just take 1 point off for price.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Alright, so for animation, I will show you what he does. He pops up, his eyes light up, his mouth moves. Those are actually all of the things he does. Also, he has an IR sensor and a step pad option. His IR sensor is not very good. That's one thing to note. It's underneath of all of this creepy cloth. By the way, the creepy cloth sheds a lot. That's another thing I guess I'll talk about with clothing. They can't really help that, but it's kind of aggravating. It's all over the floor. But the IR sensor is like underneath of here. I don't know why they wouldn't have just kind of had it on here. I guess there might have not been anything to connect it to, but kind of a dumb positioning for the IR. But I'll plug him in real quick and then talk about it a little bit more in depth. Alright, let's see. He's kind of a jump scare.
I came here for the souls of children, but I'll gladly take yours too.
Alright, so this is the main thing. Also, I just noticed this is kind of starting to rip. The wings aren't super high quality. But the main thing... Oh, let me get him unplugged real quick before it goes off. The main thing that is going to be the reason I take off a substantial amount of points for the animation, and I do like the animation. I like the pop-up action. It's pretty cool. The eyes light up yellow, which I think was a perfect color for it. The mouth also moves, but the mouth movement on mine is a little bit weak. Not sure if it is on all of them, but that's another thing that I'm going to take a little bit off for. The mouth movement is kind of not very much. It's like one of those that just kind of shakes. But the main thing is that his reset is super long. It probably takes up about half of the time that his entire animation is. And mine starts resetting like as it's already talking. I'm not sure. Some people mention that's weird. I don't know if it's not supposed to start resetting it. But all I know is that the reset is really, really long, and that's because it just has a gear that pulls it back down, but that's something that I don't really like. It doesn't talk for that long, and then you have to wait quite a while for it to go off again. So that's not a preferable quality. The reset, not very good. It's also a very loud reset. You can hear it going down, and just because of how much time that reset takes up, I am giving it a 6 for animation, but other than that, it's a pretty cool pop-up action.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Okay, so for durability, I feel like the Forest Demon has a few issues. For one, it has a pretty violent motion like Peekaboo Penny. It shoots up pretty quick, yet it has a really cheap plastic system, plastic gears that pull it down, that also were starting to struggle on mine because the little thing here that pulls it down was getting stuck on this other piece of clothing. If I can't really... Hold up. This other one that hangs, you really can't see it. There's a bottom section of clothing that hangs that cuts off right about here, and this little plastic thing in there was pushing on it and is kind of struggling to come down and reset. So that's one thing I have to worry about. When I have it running all Halloween night, it's going to be hovering over top of the candy bowl, so it's going to be going quite a bit when kids come up to get candy. I don't want to have to be worrying about something like that breaking it or causing the gears to stop working for the reset. And also, it just has a really violent motion that I feel eventually is not going to last with this plastic system that it has that doesn't look too strong and secure. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I don't want to make any prejudgments because it may end up being completely fine and working all Halloween. But I also know that the one at the flagship store, the mouth and the eyes stopped working, and it was already malfunctioning in like the first week of having it on display. So that's just another thing that kind of goes to show that it's not the most durable prop. The reason that might have happened is that there's that spring on this side over here that goes over top of that wire if you're not careful. Maybe that's what ended up happening, was that it popped up and it cut that wire right in half. That could happen. That's another thing to note. So it's not the best, most well-made prop. It is like, it's made from Crazy Create, so it's kind of got that techie toys, cheap plastic stuff going on, even though it has a really violent motion, like the cheaply made ones always tend to have the most violent motions for some reason. So we'll see how it does. But for durability, I am going to have to give it a 6 because I would not trust this guy to last more than a couple years.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
The next category is audio. I actually really do like his audio. I think the voice actor that they got for it is really good. It's a deep male voice, and of course they kind of edit it a little bit, and it sounds just right for this towering demon devil thing. I think it has some good phrases too. Trying to think of some of them on the top of my head. It says, am I as scary as I am in your nightmares or whatever. It has some pretty cool ones. Maybe one or two cheesy ones in there that are kind of dumb, but they all kind of have some dumb phrases. I think that overall, though, it does have really good audio. The audio is loud, it's just clear, you can hear it well. I think it has 4 phrases, actually, which is nice. That's quite a few. So for audio, I am going to be giving it a 10 out of 10.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
So detail is mostly pretty good on the Forest Demon. This is excluding the clothing and everything, because the clothing is its own separate category. So just the hands and the head. I actually love the hands. They're not the typical hands that we see on every single Seasonal Visions prop. Of course, it's not created by Seasonal Visions, but they kind of are like Limb Ripper's hands, where they're really wide and big and actually shaped instead of just being flat. Like the ones on Towering Clown and stuff, so I like them. And they have the veins in there, real big fingers with those black fingernails. I think that the hands are actually one of my favorite parts of them. For how realistic they look. And the head also looks really, really realistic. Has a lot of wrinkle details in there. The nose looks good. The eyes are kind of interesting. They have this like slit, horizontal slit going on, which I think is kind of strange at first, but it actually does go really well with it being like a demon and an entity. If it just had regular eyes, that might look kind of strange. But I like that they didn't just do where the eyes just light up a color, because that's how a lot of them used to be. The eyebrows actually look a little bit weird, but I think they're okay, and it also has the addition of horns, which is kind of cool and unique, and the mouth as well looks good. The only thing, though, is that, also it has these ears that you don't really see behind this cloak, but it's got these like elf-looking ears. So just that's it for the face. But the only thing, though, that is gonna make me take off a point for detail is the beard. I feel like it looks really out of place. A lot of times you don't even notice it. It just looks like the face, and it's like, oh wait, it has this like extremely long, like a foot-long beard. You can see a line where it connects, which is kind of out of place, and it doesn't have like a mustache or any other facial hair. It just has this extremely long beard hanging down, and I was looking at the box, and you can't even really see that it has that beard, and it looks a lot more normal without it. So I don't know who decided that they were going to give it this dumb beard, but I almost feel like it's just unnecessary. I'm not going to take it off or do anything, because maybe it's hiding some stuff under here or something. Well, I don't really think it is, but I just think that the beard takes away from it. It's something that you start to not even notice, but it just looks kind of out of place. That's just my personal opinion. So for detail, I am going to be giving it a 9, just because of that beard.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Scare factor, not really much to talk about. It's definitely going to do its job if you want to scare the kids. It is really scary when it pops up. It will get some jump scares. You're not expecting it. And it also, when it pops up, it doesn't just go straight up. It comes out forward and it's leaning over you. So it's just a terrifying jump scare. I really do like it. The audio complements it well. So I think it's definitely a good one to have in your haunted house. I'm going to have it hovering over the candy bowl, because I think that's where it's going to go best for me. So for scare factor, I'm giving it a 10. It's a scary one.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Alright, so clothing is one that a lot of people kind of complain about. The clothing is very plain. It's this plain gray color. I do like all this creepy cloth dangling down, but like I said earlier, it sheds a lot, so I have creepy cloth all over the carpet, which I'll go vacuum up. I can't really complain about that, though, because there's not much they can do about that. I do like the creepy cloth dangling down, though. I think that overall, without it, it would really take away from it, because I think that it makes it look really old, and I don't know, it just adds this really cool detail with all that stuff hanging from it. But the only complaint that I had right off the bat from seeing the sneak peek from this guy is that the wings as well, I don't even know if it really would need the wings. I feel like it'd almost be just as good without them. They do add a little bit to it, but I'm gonna count them in the clothing because they're the exact same material, color, and they just are kind of like cut with slits. The wings just kind of look really sad. I don't know. The wings, they really don't stand out. I think they could have done something better with them. I don't know what, though. I can't really, I don't know what they could have done, so I can't really complain because I can't really think of anything else better that they could have done. But there's something about them being the exact same material and color that makes them not really stand out as wings. So I'm not sure what it is, what they could have done differently. I do like at the bottom, it's got all these cuts, and it has this separate piece where he pops up, and I think it actually looks kind of cool. So other than the wings being the exact same color as the clothing, and the clothing in general being very plain, it's not terrible, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
The souls of the innocent are hard to come by.
Alright, so to finish off, we have Disassembly. And the Disassembly, obviously I haven't taken it down yet because I've had it up this entire time, so I can't really say with experience how easy it is to take apart. But the only thing that I'm basing it off of is that it's probably a little bit difficult to squeeze those wings back into that folded up position and put them back into the box. I also just thought about this over time, that would probably wear them down and eventually they might end up snapping, and when you keep bending them, that would happen. So the wing thing is one of the most annoying things with this prop, is the wings having to be shaped and folded. So that's probably going to be aggravating to put back into the box. So I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10 for Disassembly. So to conclude, for the Forest Demon review, we have setup an 8, concept a 10, price a 9, animation 6, durability 6, audio 10, detail 9, scare factor 10, clothing 7, and disassembly 9, giving it an 84%. That's a B minus prop right there. So out of all of the other 2017 props that were released, I wouldn't necessarily recommend Forest Demon. There was a lot of better ones. There was Levitator Girl, Menacing Molly, Limb Ripper was brought back, he's awesome, Towering Clown, Hell Fiend, even the fenced-in zombie. Those were all ones that I would say were probably better than the Forest Demon. And I know a lot of you guys were kind of calling me out because in my sneak peek video I said how terrible he was. I even used some foul language about how bad the Forest Demon was, because when I saw that he was $250 and I watched that sneak peek, it just looked like crap. I felt like it didn't look that good. The beard looked really stupid, and it still does look stupid. The wings, all the things that I brought up, I still don't necessarily like about him, but seeing him in person makes a huge difference because it's a lot bigger than I thought, the jump scare is a lot cooler than I thought, and I have a great spot for him. He's going to be awesome on our doorstep is like the final obstacle the kids have to get past to get their candy. So I feel like he is really perfect for what I'm trying to use him for, and I know that I am being hypocritical by buying him after saying all of those things, but still not my favorite. So I'm not going to say that he's amazing, I love it, but I'm excited to use him next year and see if he scares some kids. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you like the Forest Demon and you want to get him, then go ahead and buy him using the link in the description below. That would help out the channel. It would mean a lot. I might also provide you guys a promo code down in there that you can use for him or anything else on Spirit Halloween's website. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of cool things over there. So anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.